President, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second time that Greg Kennedy and Ron Asmus have organised with their partners a GMF conference to overlap with a NATO summit. And this gives all of you here present not only a sneak preview of the summit's topics and a ringside seat, in the literal sense, a ringside seat, but also the chance to debate all of the issues that no doubt you think should be on our agenda. So I wouldn't be surprised, given how quickly traditions are created these days, that very soon this gathering will be known as the Alternative Summit. The invitation to GMF is fast becoming almost as sought after and coveted as an invitation to the real thing. As I said at dinner yesterday evening, I, for one, am not afraid of a little intellectual competition. We live in an increasingly fast-moving and complex world, and we have to tackle more and more interconnected challenges simultaneously. It is increasingly difficult in the 21st century to be Renaissance man, if ever such an individual existed. So NATO needs your ideas, your policy proposals, and yes, from time to time, your, of course, always constructive criticism, to keep us on our toes and help us to better understand the world around us. And if we cannot clearly take on board all of your ideas here in Riga, please don't worry. There will be other NATO summits in the very near future, and what you discuss here today and tomorrow will already help us to set the agenda for 2008 and 2009. And please, don't hesitate to be bold. As George Bernard Shaw once said, all great truths begin as blasphemies. But before we plan the future, we need to take care of the present. And that means making sure that NATO is fit for purpose for the missions it is carrying out today. The better the job we do in mastering the present, the less we'll have to fear from the future. That will be my objective at this Riga summit, to have a 21st century NATO for 21st century conditions. But you'll wonder, what does it mean? First and foremost, it is not enough to agree on our analysis of this new 21st century world. We all know that it is a world of globalized threats that require a globalized response. We know that we have to anticipate threats emerging from anywhere. Events in the world's poorest and most underdeveloped societies can threaten the security of the world's wealthiest. We know that we have to confront not single, easily identifiable threats, but flows. That is to say, terrorism, allied to drug profits or cyberspace, or small arms allied to militias and to illicit diamond trading, or organized crime networks allied to nuclear proliferation. The new conventional wisdom is that we need to operate without self-imposed geographical restrictions, that we need armed forces able to create and maintain stability as much as to win wars, and that we will not succeed unless we have an integrated approach where military, diplomatic and economic means combine to produce maximum effect. But if we know this all intellectually, it does not mean that we draw the consequences in practice. Some are still surprised that faraway Afghanistan has become NATO's primary theatre of operations. Others still see transformation as a luxury rather than a necessity if we are to protect our forces and carry out effective operations. Others too believe that we can protect our populations and project stability beyond our shores with ever-declining defence budgets and shrinking infantry battalions. In short, we need to generate the political will and the military capabilities that are consistent with our intellectual understanding of the important challenges we are facing. Second, we need to be clear where NATO's strengths lie. In the age of globalization, Virtually any societal problem can quickly escalate into a security challenge. So it is hardly surprising that pundits are constantly calling on NATO to go global and add every new emerging challenge to its already crowded agenda. In some cases, they are right. I'm thinking of energy security, for example. But NATO cannot take on every problem thrown up by globalization. Otherwise, we would be a jack of all trades, but master of none. We need to apply benchmarks. And the key question is, where does NATO add value? Where are we in real demand? Where can NATO's particular political and military assets be used to best effect? The answer, in my opinion, is clearly stabilization operations. We have a range of invaluable assets, integrated forces, a well-established and tried and tested political military decision-making structure, and a network of partners and other troop contributors from across the globe. 18 at present have forces under NATO command. Moreover, we've shown the political will to apply these assets not just out of area, but thousands of miles beyond Europe, in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq and Darfur. At the same time, we have seen how challenging 21st century operations can be, even with NATO's inherent strength and experience. They take place not only farther from our shores, but in much more demanding and dangerous environments. Reconstruction has to begin from scratch. A whole new political process has to be created. Fighting and nation building have to be carried out side by side, and regional neighbours have to be brought in. So if we are to meet the demands upon us, we need to learn on the job and do our operations even better. First, we need to prevail wherever we are engaged. Afghanistan is the obvious case in point. We need to prevail, even when the going gets rough